What is going on, everybody? I hope you guys are doing fantastic this weekend. Ready for another big week, and I have another big weekly update for you. Yes, inflation is here. The Fed has addressed it, and what has led to some major selling last week, but we did have a nice push on Friday that put us right back into where we left off. Again, I do believe that we are in a good spot coming into this next week. I think there was a little bit more overcorrection on some news. It was just essentially addressing the fact that the Fed had acknowledged that there was inflation. So people, I think, kind of panic sold on that one. We did have some gasoline shortage last week. There was a lot of news going around last week, but I think ultimately that Friday push was very extremely bullish to put us right back into the trend where we can continue to move up and forward from this point. And if you haven't also forgot, we do have earnings still going on. So that's something to keep in mind. We do have earnings from Walmart, Home Depot, Dubai, Tuesday morning. And then Wednesday is also big, opening up the morning with JD, Target, Lowe's, and closing with Cisco on Wednesday, and also having Kohl's and John Deere the rest of the week. So we still have a lot of earnings coming into the week. But being said, I think we're in a good spot. But I do want to bring up the calendar just to kind of remind everybody what's going on in the week ahead. We do have a lot of index, home builders index, building permits and stuff like that coming out. I think the biggest highlight here, obviously the jobs claims every week is always important. People are really watching that to see what is going on. If there's any major correction there, yes, we see quick dips or push ups, but ultimately understand, I think for the most part, we are good. We are expecting a lot, right? We've just come from a really bad situation, but what I'm ultimately worried about is the FOMC minutes on Wednesday, especially since all the last information, not last week, but the week before that, you had Janet Yellen come on and talking and kind of trying to override Mr. Powell. And then she walked back a lot of her comments on Friday. And then this next week, we had Tuesday, Fed dropped a bunch of tweets about inflation and everything. And then we had that data come out that dropped us again. So being said, I think Wednesday actually could be very big. And that aspect that if something is in that report and those that comes out showing the inflation, it could be worrisome. Although I think we did have such a dip last week, it might not be as dramatic this week. But I could see us possibly do some selling on Wednesday, doing a lot of chop on Wednesday, might even chop on Tuesday, and then drop a little bit on Wednesday leading into this. So that's something to keep in mind. And then I think we could push up again. So again, the chop is not going anywhere. Again, I think we're going to continue to fight this on and off. I think we're doing a slow melt up. But ultimately understand you have to be very patient and still see that there's still the market itself is still holding very well. Again, I just think the information that came out, again, was kind of left field. Hey, the Fed is actually acknowledging that there is inflation that's worrisome, right? And so because they think that rates are going to be raised in a quickly fashion, if that is the case. And right now, again, you have to be, again, risk management, and definitely be mindful of what is going on in the current state. But that's what I have for that. Let me go ahead and pull up the charts for next week. Again, I don't have a big watch list either for you guys this week, only because I have the major indicators, essentially the leads here, because I think it's important. We don't really know what's going on, but to get the bigger moves, catch the bigger moves, if you're doing nightly swings or day trades, to stay with the industry leaders, because of the fact that they're going to move the most right now, and then you'll have second tier follow up. And again, we've seen last week was very interesting because the money shifted very fast between value and growth stocks throughout the week. And so there was just a lot of movement. But again, it was great to see tech really pick up towards the end of the week there. So, and that's what I really like to see. So I do have Tesla. Tesla looked really good going into this week. So I did take some shares in that. Facebook. Facebook was extremely strong on Friday. I talked about the support last week. It did hit that support. I did take some shares and ride some overnight and make a little bit of profit off that. It did tag me out before it really ripped on Friday, but it is what it is. At this point, I'm trying to just manage risk and not have too loose of stops, only because of I've seen what the market's been doing lately. So, and then I have Snap as well, which I think follows Facebook very well. Kind of lags behind a little bit, but essentially what I got on Sunday here. Are coming into this week. The SPY itself, again, Tuesday tweets came out and really dropped us down. And then we were waiting on that CPI data for Wednesday. So we chopped Tuesday. That data came out, was bad, and we dropped. And then we kind of just caught ourselves. The news digested. We're okay. We realized there was inflation. It was just the fact, hey, the Fed actually, I was like, we acknowledge that it is there. And so all is well with the world. And we started pushing high. Back into where we left off. So being said, on the daily, there's one thing to keep in mind on the SPY. I did like that push up, but we do still want to stay above this 216.65 mark. We want our daily candle. If our daily candle opens up here, I think we can start continuing forward and moving up to all-time highs again, very much so. Again, I think what we're going to do is we're going to have some push ups, maybe a week or two of push. Then some chop, then maybe a little bit of drop. I think it's going to be very much part of this new market, at least for the short foreseeable future here. But that could all change. Maybe we get into a deflationary stage, and then I think the market will really rip at that point. So that is something to keep in mind. But ultimately, I do like SPY a lot with that bullish move again on Friday. As far as tech, QQQ, same thing here. It is coming into the bands here, but I think we will eventually break through this and get back up. We definitely want to watch the daily on this and make sure we reclaim some of this. We're not completely out of the woods yet, but I think we are close to there. And again, tech was extremely strong on Friday. Now, Tesla, this was also one thing I really liked about Tesla was the fact that, so Tesla does look fantastic actually on the daily here. This is a big reason why I did like this, is that it held at 200. I was really worrisome to see the sink below the 200, but we did reclaim it on Friday, open up above it, and started pushing. So that is very good in my mind. We at least got to the 650 before we hit any kind of major resistance on the daily. So that is very good, very bullish in my mind. I think, again, we don't want to miss this. Tesla is at a good spot. I don't think we see Tesla sinking extremely low here. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, but I don't see us going well below this. I know there's a lot of people talking about 400s. Anything is possible, but ultimately, I just don't see that happening. I don't think there's so much bad news with inflation that is going to tear Tesla down that low. But again, we'll have to see what comes in the coming months. So I do like Tesla. Again, I think it looks very clean, that 250 mark. If we do break above that, we do have the support of the 200 moving average, which is great. Again, very bullish and start moving up from that point, I do believe. Facebook had, again, an awesome Friday. I talked about the support last week. I did actually take shares in this on the second dip down. I did get tagged out on this. Believe it was actually on one of these dipping candles here. It tagged me out, but ultimately it continued pushing forward. I did make a little bit of profit on this, but ultimately I think it's a good indicator and lead indicator. Even when the market was bad in March, Facebook definitely led the charge, and I think something that you definitely need to keep your eye on, especially if tech is going to keep pushing forward. Facebook will be the lead indicator. Once Facebook starts to stall, I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing second tier start really pushing from that point, any kind of second tier tech. So that's why I do have Facebook on the list, and then Snap is the other one. And because it follows much like Facebook, it does lag behind Facebook. So I imagine this actually doing some good pushing next week. Hopefully hit that 554 mark, 46, get above that, and then reclaim a lot of this lost ground here is what I'm looking for. I did actually grab leaps on the pullback on Friday, because I did like Snap and where it was sitting at. It was at a very low price, and again, ad revenue and everything I think is playing in a more smaller micro aspect as compared to some the behemoth that Facebook is. But I think Snap will fall right behind Facebook here, so that's something to keep in mind. But that is pretty much what I got. Just manage risk this week. I think we got to keep a lot of things in mind and what's going on. There's a lot going on. I think, again, we're going to chop quite a bit on and off throughout this whole, at least the foreseeable future, another month or two, I think. But ultimately, I think we'll have some good runs, again, followed by some chop, maybe some drops with some news, inflation, and everything, and then continue forward. But I'm still very bullish. Again, I try not to let that influence anything when I am doing my analysis and stuff like that, because I can very quick switch and start buying puts. Was buying puts this week, so right now I'm not biased either way. I'm just going off of what the chart is showing me and making my move from that point. So just be well aware of that. Again, right now I'm in and out of different positions. Be aware of that. I try to be as transparent as possible, even though one day I have a plan, and then by 9:30 the next day, Eastern Standard Time, when the bell hits, a plan can be completely thrown out the window, and I have a completely different plan because of the overnight session in the pre-market. So just be aware of that. That's the way I trade. I actively invest on and off. Sometimes if I don't like the market, I'll go all cash just because I don't like what is given. In this market, I've gone all cash quite a few different times because it's changed so dramatically. So just be aware of that, or just invest, or just do not touch anything and walk away for a couple of months, and I think you'd be more than okay. So just keep that in mind. But that's essentially what I got for you guys. So remember to manage risk and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so and made it this far. All right, guys, till next time, I'll see you later.